Yesterday, Nate Washington joins us now. Hi, buddy.
Buck, how are you?
I'm drowning. I'm drowning in this nonsense, Nate. The internet is a terrible place. I had to pull my face
It
out of
is.
the sewer for about an
It is.
hour last night because it was complete and total nonsense on both sides.
Right. I think you just hit the nail on the head, man. It's the internet, man. I personally myself, I strategically stayed off of all social media while playing. I didn't create my Twitter account until 2017. I retired in 2016 because of that simple fact, man. You know, whether it's truth or it's false out there, it's just a huge debate behind things that should be irrelevant to other people that they kind of engulf themselves in that you now have to answer. So, yes, I don't think this would be such a big of a deal situation-wise in-house. But obviously, you know, the internet is going to have a debate for everything, man.
So let's have a nuanced and reasonable conversation. It's why I'm happy for our friend Nate Washington's presence, because I know that Nate will discuss this with the kind of nuance that I want to talk about. Nate, I'm going to read you the quote back exactly. When Ryan Tannehill was asked about being in the room with Malik Willis and that guy potentially trying to take his job, quote, "That's part of being in a quarterback room in the same room. We're competing against each other. We're watching the same film. We're doing the same drills. I don't think it's my job to mentor him. If he learns from me along the way, then that's a great thing." Your initial reaction to those comments was what?
My initial reaction actually to that was, what actually was the exact question from PK? Because, see, this could be taken a totally, lot of different ways. Obviously, diving into the literacy of the statement, he's exactly right. You know, this is not his job. That is not your job. That is not a part of your job duties that are stated to you that you must mentor the incoming rookie that will be in your room. That is not a part of your job duty. I want to put that first and foremost on the table. And I think looking at the literal statement itself, you know, obviously, you know, there's a reason why he's saying that. There is a competition in that room, and I understand that. But there's also, you know, diving into it as reason why I said I needed to know what exactly PK asked him is because there's a lot of things and ways to look at this also as the player. I mean, as the organization bringing in Ryan Tannehill this year, he's making $30 million this year. That does not just include throwing a football. That comes with being the face of the franchise. When there's public events going on, you're probably going to be one of the first guys that they call because they want you to be there to represent the team. There's going to be things that are going to go on with kids and Make-A-Wish Foundation, people that come in the building. You're going to be one of the first guys they come to go talk to those kids personally. There's going to be things that are going to be tied into your job duties that are not going to be literally your job duty, but also a part of what you're supposed to be a part of in that organization. Now, here's the thing with that statement in itself. I understand that literally it's not your job duty, but myself personally, when I started becoming a leader in the locker room with the Titans, and a lot of the guys began to look at me like a captain, there were guys that were coming in. You know, we got a young Kendall Wright, a young Justin Hunter. I came there my first year in Tennessee. We drafted Kenny Britt. And all of those guys that came in under me, you know, I know that there'll be plenty of listeners that'll dive into those guys' individual careers and all of those type of things, and I understand that. You know, it didn't work out for those guys the way that the fans wanted it to. I understand that completely. But me, myself, as a guy that had gone through those early stages of a career, seeing a young guy coming in, seeing a young guy as a first-round draft pick, understanding that pressure was totally different from my pressure as an undrafted free agent rookie. I understood that it was also part of my duty to groom these young guys because at any given moment, I can go out, you know, during the midst of training camp, tear my hamstring and be out the first 4 or 5 weeks. Now, because I've looked at it like a competition in my room, or I don't want Damian Williams to take my spot, so I'm not going to groom him and mentor him properly on his field. Now, when I go out, I have to worry about coming back to a team maybe week 6, 7, 8 that's now looking at a 1-4 record playing with all young guys instead of maybe 3-3 or a 2-2 record that can have us a little better advanced. So I understood that was a part of my mentoring duties, to come in there and also look at the whole state of the situation as, even if this guy is here to replace me, he's also here to help this team. And for me, looking at it, just to tie all of this up into one synopsis, for me to look at it as a leader of the locker room and understand that it's also not a part of my job details, but my duty as an older guy in the league to mentor these young guys. To be honest with you, Buck, completely honest with you, me looking at the situation, I'm going to teach Kendall, Kenny, and Justin everything I know. And then in practice, I'm going to show you that you still can't do what I do.
Yes.
You understand? So for me, it's a confidence thing. When I'm asked that question, I'm going to look at it as, he's a young guy coming in, I'm going to do whatever I can to help him advance himself. At the very moment I say to the media, as the leader, as the captain, it's not my job to mentor, that's immediately going to be taken as, you see Malik as a threat. And in my eyes, as in your leadership, in your year that you've been here, at your salary, Ryan, you can't see any competition in your building right now. You can only see what you've lacked in the past years that has kept this team from accomplishing their main goal, which is your play. And in the reflection of your play, it's your duty to come out here and make sure that every guy on this roster is handling their business to be better, to get you guys in a better position where you need to be at the end of this season, instead of being disappointed about how things worked out because you've been in competition with the guys in your building. You can't do that. You have to be able to be confident enough in yourself to say, listen, I can teach you guys all that I know while I'm still perfecting myself, because at the end of the day, they pay me the big bucks for a reason. You can't do what I do yet.
Nate Washington.
And that's the way he has to carry that.
Nate Washington, former Titans wide receiver, here with us on 104.5 The Zone, preaching sense to people about the circumstance around Ryan Tannehill. This is why Twitter is a terrible place to have these discussions, because Nate, that was a beautifully articulated side of the discussion from somebody who's been in a damn locker room. Nate, you were here from 2009 to 2014. You know what a quarterback transition looks like. You've seen various degrees of this, like through all the different guys that you played with, because it was Kerry Collins and Vince Young. You had Jake Locker and Fitzpatrick. There was some Hasselbeck, maybe an odd Rusty Smith game in there from a time or two. Have you ever seen a situation from a quarterback that displayed publicly that kind of insecurity that we saw from Ryan Tannehill yesterday?
Not really. I'm going to be honest with you. And I know a lot of people are taking this as, me. I've seen someone else on the internet say I had a problem with Ryan Tannehill. That's not the case at all. Here's the situation. When things occur and situations happen, there's going to be comments and people that are going to feel a way about it, and they're going to want to discuss those things. And I'm just one of those guys that, notice that I think Ryan has talent-wise enough to accomplish what this team needs to accomplish. But it's obvious that he has a disconnect when it comes towards the overall leadership. And now I've been told from people, he does a great job of being a leader and this, that, and the third. And I get that. If that's the way the people feel, that's their opinion.
And by the way, half those people don't know that, Nate, because they have no idea what professional athletes are like outside of what they see on social media. None.
And that's the problem for me, Buck, because I know what these guys are like in these locker rooms. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
And understanding that dynamic in itself, I understand why that if you're going to be on social media as a player, then you're going to be Every bit of your actions are going to be dictated, and they're going to be broken down, and they're going to be analyzed, and they're going to be all of those things. Every single tweet that AJ deleted, everybody was on top of that.
Yeah.
They know how he does, all of these things. And I looked at, everybody wants to make all these comparisons about how Brett Favre treated Aaron Rodgers and how Flacco treated Lamar Jackson. And in the great words of my mother growing up, she used to tell me all the time, if your friend's going to jump off a bridge, you going to go do that with them?
Yeah.
So it doesn't make it right just because they did it. It makes it insecure. And the state of this team right now, they need a leader in Ryan Tannehill that's going to be confident enough to say, look, I went through a hard time. Obviously he stated that he took the playoff loss and everything that happened and occurred in the back end of the season pretty hard, and he had some dark times. Allow that dark time to fuel you to be a better leader to this team. Allow that dark time to fuel you to show this fan base, which I also can dive into in a different, discussion, but to show this fan base that you want different this year. And it's not about coming and showing people, oh, I'm better than Malik Willis. You're supposed to be better than Malik Willis right now. Every draft prospect analyzation on Malik said what? Kenny Pickett was the one that was ready right now to play.
The league told us. The league told us when Pickett was the only first-round pick and Malik went 86th.
Exactly. Why are you worried about coming in and competing with Malik Willis? That should be the last thing that you are worried about. The first thing on your mind should be coming in that building and making sure that everybody in that building knows you as a captain, you as a leader of the 2022 Titans is not going to be the same leader as the 2021 Titans. Ryan Tannehill, you want different. And in order to show different, you have to be different. When all of the speculations around trade rumors and, Nate Washington is not good enough in the weight room, he doesn't take practice serious, he's not a good enough influence on the young guys. When I was hearing all those things, Buck, I didn't go back to my social media and take a stance or go in the media and say, oh, the organization is not doing this, that. No. I wish you can literally interview Steve Watterson, which was our assistant head coach and our strength and conditioning coach. He literally looked me in my face one day and said, Nate, I've never seen anybody take the reins of their career and turn it around the way you have. And I looked him back in his eye and I said, you know what? Those people were right about me. I didn't take it serious enough. I wasn't doing what I had to do for Steve, but I'm telling you here, in this season here, I'm going to be the leader that I'm supposed to be. I'm going to be the first one in the weight room, the last one out. When everybody's sleeping in meetings, I'm going to be the first one to wake them up. Hey, we're not doing that today. When everybody's slacking in the 2-minute drill at the last part of practice, hey, I get we tired, but we got more. Let's give more. Even in the moments that we're away from our coach and you guys my teammates are talking bad about them, I may laugh and allude to it, but I'm going to tell my teammates in that conversation over a couple of drinks that, hey, I get it. We may not like him, but we got work to do. I was tired. So the leadership has to transition in everything that you do, especially when you're talking about bringing young guys in that building and them looking to you to be a mentor for them, whether you like it or not. That comes along with being a veteran. That comes along with that salary they're paying you. And although it may not be in fine print, you have to take that duty on as yourself to say, you know what, I need to pass this real game down to these young men so they're not out here lost when my time is up. Because eventually, whether you like it or not, Father Time is undefeated, and things happen to where your time is going to be over.
Oh, a round of applause. A round of applause for Nate Washington. Mwah! Chef's kiss. That was outstanding, Nate, and thank you so much for providing that context for people, because that is so critically lost in the middle of this conversation. They're upset about the wrong thing. It can be the same comment. They're upset about the wrong thing. People doing the lowest common denominator because they don't understand what it is to work in one of these places, to be in one of these atmospheres. And that's why I'm very grateful that you've taken the time for us today, my friend.
No doubt, Buck. I appreciate you giving me the time, man, because it's kind of also frustrating with only, 140 characters trying to relate to people. Like, look, I know you're frustrated, but at the same time, you can't be lost in what this team needs right now. And you guys pretty much do. You Teresa, Corey, Teron, you guys do a pretty much good job of what you can relaying to the people. That it's much bigger than what you guys are just reading in these articles and seeing on the internet. Like, it's about actually trying to micromanage these egos, these guys that are coming in and should be leaders but are disconnecting and separating themselves from the team that this team needs, and the only way that they're going to be great is if all 53 guys are on the same page and tie in the same knot and make sure that they want the same things out of this, not just an individual reflection of, you guys need me, but we need each other.
At NWash85 is where you can follow him on the social media that he and I have both proclaimed our disdain for. Nate, that's why you can't try and talk to them. You just have to fight them. You just have to fight them tooth and nail on social media, and then we can come on the radio show and we can talk amongst ourselves and have reasonable discussion. Thank you for the time, buddy. I really do appreciate it.
I greatly appreciate you, Bug. You're dope, man. I'll talk to you later.
That's my guy, Nate Washington, there with us on 104.5 The Zone. Woo!